Hey guys, Ravi the Heavy Roller here from Nzanzi Comic Club, and yeah, I finally got to watch Creed 3. Very stoked that it became available on the streaming platforms, specifically on Amazon Prime. And I have to say, I was disappointed. I was expecting a whole lot more fantastic casting in the form of Jonathan Majors, but it didn't go very well. They tried to cram in a lot. I don't want to spoil it for everyone. It's a very good casting. Of course, Michael B. Jordan reprises his role as Adonis Creed. Um, he was a bit of a complex character in many senses, but they seem to have taken they seem to have taken it in a completely different direction. He's a little bit more of a commercial guy, kind of like his dad, Apollo Creed. So it's kind of straight out of left field. I think he's finding his feet in the world as a soon to be retired boxer. From what I could have, from what I picked up in the movie, not the best movie. They tried to cram a lot in, a lot of issues, a lot of sensitive issues in the space of 2 hour and a bit film isn't ideal. Where I thought they were fantastic was the casting of Jonathan Majors as Creed's villain. Um, what's this dude's name? I completely forgot. Anyways, but of course he's is going through some legal troubles at the moment. It is a bit of a challenge that Marvel is currently facing at the moment because, as we know, he's also casted or was cast as Kang the Conqueror, who is supposed to be the next notorious villain in the Avengers series in particular. So there was a huge build up, but of course, his legal battles, which we won't really talk about now, has certainly come to light. Yeah, I'm just hoping for the best possible outcome in that instance. But genius casting, he's a fantastic actor, not taking anything away from his abilities or competencies as an actor. Brilliant. Genius casting. Um, I would say this is where we were missing one of those villainous types. Generally we look at the Rocky movies as sort of a platform or as a guiding light in terms of the types of villains you would face in terms of boxing itself, in terms of the Rocky franchise. You look at Rocky 1 and 2. It's obviously Apollo Creed. You got Clubber Lang, who was in Rocky 3, and then of course Ivan Drago Rocky 4, and then Tommy Gunn in Rocky 5. Um, I wouldn't even really look at Rocky 6 as an example, but in essence, we haven't really had a significant villain since Ivan Drago. Somebody that is intimidating, somebody that's a force of nature, and I feel that Jonathan Majors' portrayal of this type, this villain, was incredible. He actually gave a fantastic performance. There were obviously notable returns, but again, this was an example of a third movie in a franchise or a sequel, if you will, where they tried to squeeze too much in a very narrow space of time. They want to obviously do some throwbacks or some nods to the previous movies. The funny thing is, while there was well documented that Sylvester Stallone is not involved in the movie, even though he was listed as a producer, I think his lack of involvement was very telling from the start, particularly with the story. The story was not a good one at all. They tried to uh, talk about a bit too much or confirm uh, that they are battling as a parent, as a successful young black couple. They are battling with managing the day to day struggles of having a child with a disability. And I think that's a very important story to tell. But with that, you've got an ailing mother. With that, you've got you retiring as the world heavyweight champion. Then you are also playing the role of a manager of a talent manager of an up and coming or the current champion of the world. It really was too much happening too soon. Um, Even he was even a throwback to his first villain from the very first movie. Hell, at least they fought in South Africa, so that's an awesome thing. But the point is that there was just way too much happening, and I think I can't speak on behalf of Sylvester. I'd love to have him on the show one day. That's never going to happen, but hey, one can dream and wish, right? Uh, I think his interpretation is much the same as everyone else that watched the movie, and there was way too much content in that movie, way too much going on. I would have loved to have seen this guy fail, and it's not to say I don't like the character. It's just that the from the onset, you get this guy. He's the most successful boxer at the moment. Then his wife, of course, she's a musician, and of course, she's got um, Grammy Awards, like 6 or 7 Grammy Awards to her name. I mean, that's incredible. Most musicians would dream of that. Like, they of course would have dreamed of that, but there's no ways he could have been a struggling musician 7 years ago. Suddenly, you walk out with 7 or 8 Grammy Awards. That's the Grammy is a bit different in that there's a bit of a build up over time. That doesn't happen overnight, and that's the kind of impression that I got. Um, anyway, so long story short, good casting, not a good movie. I believe there's going to be a Creed 4. I'm hopeful that they will take all of this into consideration and actually have a much better story. The director, Ryan Coogler, was excellent selection, but I think he's literally playing it as it lies. He's working with what it is that he had in terms of a story, but the storyline needed to be much better than this, and I expected more from the Creed franchise. Sound off your comments below. What do you think? Good movie? Bad movie? Better options out there? Can't wait to hear from you. Take care.